everyone, welcome back to the Rogue's Passage, a very special edition, day after birthday for myself. I just turned a wholesome 35, can you believe it? My vampiric abilities keeping me young and eternal forever. I'm joined today by my co-host, at least one of them. The other one right now is in Philadelphia kicking butt, doing the fuck he's doing. I don't actually know what he's doing. He's having fun with family.
Family vibes, visiting family out there, hanging out with his kid. He recently checked out our TikTok for put out a nice little thing of car pulls. He bought some Duskmourn.
He bought me the new Precon, the new Aminato Precon for my birthday, which was really cute. So thanks, Tanner.
Yeah, and then I've got the Rakdos one coming. My first real step into proper villainy.
Thank you for joining me finally, Valvagoth.
Yeah,
image here.
I played against it last night. It's rough. Really, to just lead right into our first topic here, Duskmourn, and we're only going to be able to talk about this a little bit. Duskmourn is some good and really rude cards.
There's 3 versions I think right now?
3 versions of
Valvagoth.
Oh, Valvagoth, yeah.
So let's just check out one of these around meow. We have the one that the precon is the Horror of Souls.
It's a pretty cool card.
Flying ward, pay 2 life. Whenever an opponent loses life for the first time during each of their turns, put a 1/1 counter on Valvagoth, Horror of Souls, and draw a card. A lot of things you can do to stack that up, especially if you're already messing around with a lot of life cost mechanics.
Yeah, and they printed I think 3 or 4 other cards out of the set that all have players can't gain life. One of them is permanent. Players it deals damage to somebody. Players can't gain life.
Yeah, we haven't seen that I think since Larwin.
Yeah.
Yeah, with Plasma Lasher and silly shenanigans like that. So
it's pretty nasty. I'm excited though, especially coming out of Bloomborough. Bloomborough was we said this on the last podcast. Bloomborough felt almost like a calling card to just Magic in general. It was so flavorful. It was so cool. Everything seemed like it was on brand, on theme. A lot of really fun interactions in cards. And even the effects like Maha that were here's your kind of oppressing things that are going on. Were really on point of I hated Maha when I first saw it. And then the more that I kept seeing it, it's this is actually really flavorful.
It's not quite like Massacre Girl.
Yeah.
It would go great in a Massacre Girl brew, especially if you're working around anti-anthems. What do you call those?
I don't know.
Anti-lords. The anti-lords.
Anti-lords.
But aside from that, honestly, Maha is just, as a singular mono-black commander, is relatively tame.
Yeah, oh yeah. Basically everything in Bloomborough was super weird, fair nonsense of Maha. Everything becomes a 1/1. Or base power and toughness 1/1. Good value. And then we step into Duskmourn, and Duskmourn 100% is okay, so you got your nicety, we gave everybody a big old hug out of Bloomborough, and now we're just gonna fucking rip your goddamn hearts out.
Not only, by the way, for Duskmourn, is the writing for the story bad, which is on cue for a horror movie, especially when it's basing off of bad horror movie culture, which I really appreciate. Wizards, I'm not sure if you intended to do that.
Oh no, they did. Almost every single creature out of Duskmourn, and check this out, go check out the spoiler list, all that kind of stuff, check out your cards. Almost every single creature is based off of something out of actual horror movies.
Yeah.
I'm not joking. Everything is they have Chucky from the Chucky series in there. They have Killer's Mask, which is totally Jason Voorhees. Every single card is basically based off of old horror movies.
I'm all for it. Right now, as an example, I just mentioned Tanner buying me the Aminato Precon for my birthday.
Yep.
I know for a fact, as much as I love her, I'm going to be messing around with her specifically as a commander. Mm-hmm. But this is going to be the equivalent to my Mothman that you've been only improving since you acquired the goddamn thing. So this is the Master of Keys image here.
Yeah.
When Master of Keys, it's got flying. It does cost. It's Esper, but it's got an X in its cost, which I absolutely love.
Yeah, there's not many X cost commanders.
There is, but there isn't. Rocco.
Yeah.
I can think of that. A few Hydra specific cards.
Yeah.
When Master of Keys enters, put X 1/1 counters on it and mill mill twice X cards. Each enchantment in your graveyard has escape. The escape cost is equal to the card's mana cost plus exile 3 other cards from your graveyard. Mm-hmm. So it's kind of, you're working with an Esper. I literally just took apart a Layla to make this brew sing, and the fact that I get to mess around with Escape and Esper seems a lot of fun. We have Azorius range in mana for all sorts of flickering. Yeah, I'm going to have a really, really good time with this brew. And it's probably going to be one of my more grislier ones. And the art is everything to me. Honestly, I wouldn't have known about this unless I think it was either Emery or Mercy recently in our chat just like kind of released this as a topic. And I was like, oh my God, my heart, master of keys. Yeah, no, I'm all for that. Yeah. And speaking of actually secondary commanders for precons, the Valvagoth one, have you seen that?
Yeah, Lord of Pain. This is a beautiful example. Card you were just talking about.
I'm building this, by the way.
Yeah. No, the card you were just talking about, that commander, not a remove on site. It's rough, it's tough, and it gives everything in Graveyard Escape, but realistically, you don't want them recasting that. Mm-hmm. Lord of Pain is a remove on site. Remove on site commander.
I do appreciate that there's no ward or any of that kind of...
Yeah. Rakdos, red, black, and then 3 generic. Menace, your opponents can't gain life. Whenever a player casts their first spell each turn, choose another target player. The Lord of Pain deals damage equal to that spell's mana value to the chosen player.
Which is fun. It's checking for the first cast each turn. But at the end of the day, if you stack this right with the commander, you add in Karavik, you add in Wound Reflections.
Yep.
This is probably one of the most brutal commanders I've ever seen, ever printed. And I'm a Judith player.
Yeah.
I'm right now just loving Judith. This still makes me hard, though.
Yeah.
I will say one thing. The human assassin typing for the art is bullshit.
I do agree. You can see right here, but it's a face coming out of TV screens, but it's got like an arm that's also coming. It doesn't make sense as a human
horror.
Assassin.
Yeah, you have a whole bunch of add in horror, maybe a horror assassin just for fun. Yeah, we have that new the new legendary from Assassin's Creed that would love an assassin.
Yeah,
I mean, it's still a human assassin, and I guess you could still add this. Kaisar players, Urena players, Olivia. Yeah, no, I don't know. There's still so much you can do that with the subtyping. I still think it's wrong to have given it human, though.
I completely agree.
Its face is literally a TV.
Yeah, it's not the most apt. But
why
I'm
not
sure
Avatar horror?
Because I'm sure that they were probably
Avatars actually. Yeah,
they were probably looking at synergies because of the Assassin's Creed stuff, and even just out of Thunder Junction, giving it assassin makes sense. They're trying to build on those synergies. Giving it human. As opposed to horror, was probably like an actual like limiter to its power level, because I could see it being horror. I don't know all of the horror cards and horror combos that are out there.
And if you want to lean into it, let's just say as an example, horror movie culture.
Yeah,
sure, I can suspend my disbelief. And say that there's maybe some kind of weird jigsaw. Homage here. I don't know. It seems a bit of a stretch.
See, but. There's a card, sorry if I butchered the name here, I believe the card is called Let's Play a Game. It's legitimately also faces on a TV. I don't know if it's meant to be the same character. It's a Jigsaw reference. Of course it is. Of course it is. Flavor-wise, Duskmourn, phenomenal. Card-wise, I see this being like a little problematic of a set. I think it's going to cause
there's a lot of key pieces in here, like...
Yeah.
Ignoring the fact that opponents can't gain life, there is some bullshit mechanics.
Yeah.
There's... Well, not even mechanics. There's just some creatures that are going to be kill on sight.
Oh, yeah.
Like, guaranteed.
Oh, yeah. I guess, just for the sanctity, if you go check out Commander at Home, their Duskmourn, they did a Bloomburrow versus Duskmourn game. It was fun. It was really cool to watch. The beginning of their episode, they had a little precursor of they were trying to record a game, and then they recorded a second game immediately after, because the first one they did, it was Bloomburrow versus Duskmourn, two-headed giant. So it was 2 Duskmourn decks versus 2 Bloomburrow decks. And I guess the first game they played, Lord of Pain, it was just a slaughter. They basically didn't get a fucking chance to do anything on the Bloomburrow side.
Some cards that stand out for me, like Tyvar the Pummeler.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Tyvar's.
And I'm a Tyvar player. I love this. Why the fuck is he here?
Yeah.
I guess I know that the Omen Paths are still a thing.
Yeah.
Sure, let's lean into bad writing for the set. And I love the card, but why is it in this set? That really does bother me. I'll read this out. So, Tyvar the Pummeler costs 2 pips, mono green, tap another untapped creature you control. It gains indestructible until end of turn. Tap it. So you're kind of losing out. If it's looking for tapping synergies, that's kind of cool, I guess. Whenever a creature becomes tapped, something like that in mono green, kind of limited to me unless it's multicolor. And then for 5, which we just Jazal. This is basically Jazal. Creatures you control get XX until end of turn, where X is the greatest power among creatures you control.
Yeah.
So for sure, I have the Golgari Tyvar deck that loves to incrementally boost all mana dorks. Yeah. So something like this is really, really cool. But aside from that, I don't know.
No, I mean, for it being in the set, I don't like it. I like that as a synergy, though. Tap another untapped creature you control, Tyvar gets indestructible, and then tap it. So ideally, you attack with Tyvar. It's tapped, and then you tap another untapped creature, you give it indestructible for the combat.
Well, yeah, I mean,
or if it's pre-combat, somebody goes to try and destroy it, or if it's untapped on somebody else's on somebody else's turn, you give it indestructible to protect against a board wipe.
Well, yeah, we even with the Tyvar that I played, it gives attacking elves I control.
Yeah.
Or is it tapped? Tapped elves I control have death touch?
Yeah.
So obviously it's still playing into the weird wording of what his mechanic does.
Yeah.
But at the end of the day, I love that they did it, but why? We also have Zimone, All Questioning. This one's going to be a little bit more crazy. Every other Zimone card that's ever, or Zimone, whatever you want to, All Questioning, that's ever been printed has been largely questionable. Yeah. Finally, we have one that can actually do a lot of work, but at the end of the day, unless you're a math-savvy bitch, I am sorry.
Yeah.
Not for me. Why don't you read this one? I don't want to read the math.
At the beginning of your end step, if a land entered the battlefield under your control this turn, and you control a prime number of lands, we're really getting into math here, create Primo, the Indivisible, a legendary 0/0 green and blue fractal creature token, then put that many +1/+1 counters on it. It says here on the card as well, examples of prime numbers are 2, 3, 5, 7, 11, 13, 17, 19, 23, 29, and 31. I like what they were going for there, especially flavor on Zimone, because she's a researcher, she's a wizard, she's delved into trying to figure out all the nuances. She's a big old nerd who likes her math. And it's funny because whoever wants to do that math in Magic?
Yeah.
I took...
The 1 in 10. The 1 in 10.
The 1 in 10. Yeah.
To you.
To you and your weird math brains that love this game for that. I recently just played a game against Brady, and I had Evolving Radstag, which is evolve and then create whenever it evolves, create a token copy of it.
It's a lot to keep up with.
Stupid math. Used to have my Gave deck back in the day that had Cathar's Crusade. It was all about creating saplings. I took it immediately out after the first time I played because it's I created 71 ones, but it was all separate triggers. So
I had to take out Infinite Combos for my Mazric brew.
Because Cathar's Crusade
that's how we discovered that.
Yeah, because Cathar's Crusade is whenever a creature enters the battlefield, put a +1/+1 counter on each creature you control.
Yeah.
It literally turned into a wall of this is a 77, this is a 76, this is a 75, this is a 74. It's nonsense.
It's Fight of the Kami and Mazric is an example. When it's checking for modified creatures or any creature dying, it checks for its power and then starts incrementally, and then when you have Mazric on the battlefield, creating this crazy chain reaction where you have a million, then you have a 9 million something, blah, blah, blah. I can't even math that much. That's how much I hate this. It's just... Let's say I have a 100, and then I have a 999, 999, and then I have a 998, 998, and it's just so much math. Who wants to deal with that?
Some players do, for sure.
The 1 in 10.
The 1 in 10. Right to you. Salute to you. Yeah. We're in for some really cool stuff. I'm excited to get my hands on some of these decks.
Yeah. I want to abuse Winter out the ass.
Yeah.
Because trust, that Winter is coming.
Oh yeah, that Winter's
all over my face. He looks like me even.
A little bit.
So much to accomplish there. My fantasies are going wild.
A little bit. Stepping forward on that, because we're excited about all these cards. Little two-side tangent piece. So we've recently discovered a couple of services online. The one that we've really been delving into here is mtg.cardsrealm.com.
Yeah.
New services that are providing ways for you to check your deck power. And
there's a lot to discuss about that.
Yeah. They're interesting. They kind of work, but it seems to be that they're kind of adding a point value or a power value towards cards that are already seen as combo pieces.
Yeah, exactly. They're not reading exactly, as an example, what commanders bring to the table, especially what the deck does. It's not taking into consideration the psychology of the game during play, because especially when you're playing commander, politics and mind games is
It's always a part.
Interchangeable.
Yeah, it's always something that you've got to watch out for.
Yeah,
in Commander.
and even uploading recently, like some of my best decks, obviously, are CDH, and they are power scaled down compared to, and we're going to use my Mazarek brew here, which is considered a power 10. Now, back in the day, I would absolutely 100% have agreed with that until I started learning what exactly the meta revolving CDH requires, and a power 10, I'm sorry, Wizards, indicates... And any of you playing out there, I'm sorry. If you don't know this, power 8 to 10 is very competitive.
Yeah.
8 being lazy, 9 and 10 being what the fuck just happened to me, turn 2.
Yeah.
And frankly, I've now I'm kind of almost like I'm kind of getting a little salty here. I've uploaded some of my favorite brews to this website.
Yeah.
I've been cross-referencing even the analytics that Moxfield and Arachnid can provide to us. And there was one other one that I did a few times, but I was like, I deleted my history, so I can't find the goddamn thing again. I'm not going even back there because I can't even agree with the stats.
Yeah.
But at the end of the day, you know, if a deck, like, and we're going to use this as an example, it's counting ramp, it's counting number of tutors, number of non-common cards, number of token generator cards, blah, blah, blah. The one thing that I feel is the one big variable here is number of card combo potentials.
Yeah.
But as an example, here in this list of 5 to 15 cards, I was tripped up over the Lightning Greaves.
And that's where I kind of came in with, it's not necessarily that Lightning Greaves itself is a combo card. It's that it allows for combos to happen, whether that be you're playing a deck that cares about tapping things, you want to give it haste as soon as it enters, giving something protection so that it can do other stuff. Point being is that these decks are like these kind of services, and especially as they get more refined, check them out. Put your decks through them.
In this list here, and we'll just do we'll do the literal exact list. We're not going to add images, but here's the list here. I'm tripping over Urborg, Tomb of Yawgmoth. Why is that in the list of combo potential? That does bother me.
Because of cards, I can't remember, not Pestilence, maybe Pestilence? I was just played last night when we were doing some casual
Pestilence
games.
Pestilence isn't even in my deck, you know?
I don't know if, again, like I said...
Seems weird.
It's very weird, but that's like I was saying, is that these services, as much as we can probably both say, probably put your decks through them, get a test, check
Always use
see.
them. They're good reference tools.
Yeah,
100%.
it'll help you get a better idea of what cards are powerful, because it does highlight the kind of cards that are like, these cards are combo pieces. So maybe you didn't know that this card was specifically a combo piece in some way, and you get to then do your research and see, it's like, oh, these are cards that do combo with this. Like, it's a good insight. But don't come to any of these websites as they're growing in popularity now and be using them as like rule of law, because I put in my Henzi deck, which people have had gripes over what power level it was, and it put it at a level 4.
Arguably. Like my Kalia brew, which has literally Smout 2 players, turn 3 to 4, was labeled also a 4.
Yeah.
So I have to question, like, where is that coming from? Like, for me especially, I like to approach quadrant theory. And then I also like to then double down and then maybe let's look at the quadrant with another quadrant theory kind of approach. Yeah. But at the end of the day, you know, especially if I'm looking at a list like this, I'm like, okay, I can see some of them.
Yeah.
But I know I played this deck. This is my oldest commander brew.
Yeah.
I don't like what I'm seeing here. It doesn't make a lot of sense. So
word to the wise and a little bit of hesitancy. Use these services, but understand that, they're not going to be giving you like 100% accurate information.
With a grain of salt, please and thank you,
Yeah, but still, phenomenal that they're starting to gain popularity. I really like that. It was cool being able to put through like the list of all of my decks and see where things are kind of sitting.
Well, it's kind of like reading the card explains the card. Doing the work gets you there.
Yeah.
So you can fastidiously devote yourself to understanding these things, these concepts in this game that is literally infinite, much better.
Yeah.
But, you know, especially we've been dabbling with CDH, you know, like when we see lists that are saying like my Raunia, which can win turn 2. Yeah. Is a power 7. I sneeze at that, and I have to question the analytics from these websites. If they're AI generated, which is an entirely different conversation, because we've all seen, I'm sure some of us watching this video, hopefully, what AI approaching Magic the Gathering has accomplished, which is not clean.
No.
But yeah, either way.
But even on that, this is its own little testament to, we've been doing a lot of deck brewing lately. And
this isn't a way for us to like stroke our egos. No. We're trying to do the work here for you.
Yeah. We're trying to do some of the work. But yeah, we've been brewing a lot of decks. I don't think we're really going to get into the semantics of that, but it is a nice little moment to say, we're really glad that it seemed like our last 2 deck techs kind of did well. It seemed like y'all kind of
we do appreciate
enjoyed them, and we are planning on doing a lot more deck techs coming forward. I know I have a couple of planned because I've built a couple of decks here that I'm really excited about. They've been doing some fierce work, and you'll see episodes for those.
Helga, I have to talk right now. His Helga brew,
it's pretty good.
Is insane. I have never seen an Oops All Creature untap tap synergy brew quite as ruthless in blonde colors, by the way, as I have with Helga. Absolutely insane. Yeah,
it's been pretty fun. So we'll be getting to a deck tech on that at some point. Stay tuned for that, as well as many other decks from all three of the rogues. But with that, we want you guys, for any who's watching, if there's any decks or commanders that are coming out that you're really interested in, like deck techs being made for, or that you're really looking to kind of like get an idea of, let us know in the comments below. Hit us up wherever. We would love to be able to just build some of these decks and potentially give you guys some insight for how we would build it, or even just cards that we know out of
how we would, how individually we would, however you want us to interact with your request. Please let us know.
Yeah, and depending on that, some of them might actually might end up making them into games on the channel, which we'd be in love for.
The payoff. That's the payoff.
Yeah. We'd love to build the decks that you guys want to see so that we can put them to the test and beat each other's face in with them.
Is it some Tamir Extra Combats brew, or is it a Rakdos brew that is quite actually, in all of its ways, group hug?
Yeah.
Could that ever be a thing? Rakdos group hug? I don't personally believe that.
I don't know. There's a couple of cards that try, but...
I don't know. I take that statement back. That'd be the impossible mission. Ask me only, please and thank you. I will try and I will die on that hill.
Yeah. We've got a nice little Johan going crazy in the background. I don't know if you can hear him, but... Who knows what's going on with that fuzzy orange little boy?
Oh, he's a dumb fuck.
I guess we're going to keep today's podcast a little cleaner, a little shorter. So I guess lastly, we'll kind of step into, we've got a few things that we're working on. We don't know how transparent we want to be about them. One project that we've kind of teased since the beginning of this year is near fruition and soon to hit the channel.
Yep.
And that's one... that's all we can say about it right now. All we're going to say is we think that everybody's going to really like it. And it's been a very tasty endeavor.
Do you, ask yourself right now, love drunken debauchery? That's all a hint.
Yeah. But yeah, like we said, we've got deck techs coming. We've got other card reviews coming. We've got some things that are a little off branch of just Magic the Gathering coming. Especially in the way of like gameplay and stuff.
Mm-hmm. And I will use this right now as a moment. I have, I'm going to announce this.
Yeah.
Announced to my rogues, I am actually going to be getting off the ground a podcast related to, and only purely, music.
Oh, yeah.
One of my absolute fucking favorite things in the world. And we're going to be talking with DJs and local producers and pretty much everyone within our community who has some foot in the door there, and it's going to be really, really cool. I'm very, very excited.
Absolutely.
Some of the talent behind this, I'm actually so excited. So.
Absolutely. On that as well, great little segue. If you're in the Discord, we're currently working on creating a nice little channel. And if you're not in the Discord, go join the Discord. Linktree is in the comments below. We have a part of the server that we're basically dedicating to... This man's been brewing playlists for various commanders for the last few years.
I have almost 100 now.
Some of these playlists are just phenomenal, super flavorful. One of my absolute favorites is one that he made for my Arlinn Oathbreaker deck.
Really? You're still listening to that? It's so old now.
I still listen to that. What's it called again?
Wolf's Rain. Oh my god, why are you pushing me this way?
It's a great playlist. Every time I'm sitting there brewing decks, it's one of the first ones that I go to. Another one that you've made that's one of my all-time favorites is Kasla Broken Halos.
Yeah.
But this man loves to just delve into finding the genre that matches certain commanders the best and then building a playlist around that. And so if you like having just random playlists going on when you're playing games, or just going about your day and you're just looking for new weird music, new cool music, or certain genres that you maybe haven't heard before, like I said, hit up our Discord, and very quickly here we're going to have basically a full list of all the playlists he's made, as well as all the future playlists that are going to get posted in there. Definitely check it out. It's some pretty cool stuff.
I have a heavy emphasis on Phyrexian. So if you all love Phyrexian shit, yeah.
Oh yeah.
I lean heavily to that.
Oh yeah. Past that, is there anything else that you wanted to talk about on today's episode?
Honestly, other than my music podcast here coming up, which is called Genre Fluids.
Nice. That's nice.
Thank you very much.
Yeah.
I have nothing else to really plug here.
Okay. We'll probably leave her there then. Like we said, it's going to be a bit of a shorter podcast for today. But we are inching back into full force after our summer off. And we're so glad to be here. And thank you all so much for the amount of support that you've given us, the attention that you've given us. It's made a difference. We're just really hoping to be able to kind of take our passions and put it out there in the ether.
Yep.
Until next time, though, like, subscribe, leave us comments on anything that you thought, or like I said, some of the ideas that you maybe want us to explore. And if you really feel like it, ring that bell so that you know when we actually post things. Until the next time, though.
Bye!